for this Wednesday's video, we're doing baking in a tiny house. We know some people think it's really hard to actually cook and bake like normal in a small space, and you do face some different challenges, but really the end product is exactly the same. Today we're doing a family recipe of banana bread, and we have an old ripe banana. It's actually not as gross as it looks. I opened it this morning on accident, and so it had to be put in the freezer, and we're just going to put together a mixture and bake some banana bread. So the first thing I'm going to do here is put the sugar and the butter together. I need a cup of sugar, and it says in the recipe to cream it. I'm not much of a baker myself in the sense where I know exactly what creaming means and how that consistency will be. But I am assuming after plenty of times of actually doing this recipe, it just means mix well. So I will be mixing well the sugar and this butter right here, which we have already pre-measured, if I'm not mistaken, to be what it needs to be. It's squishy, which is good. The one thing about our tiny house and cooking is we don't have handles on these yet, so you have to be creative not to get food on it. That will change. So, I mean, you can use a mixer or whatever to cream. Oops. But for today, we're just going to use a fork. We're just going to beat it in together until it's together. So this is what it ends up looking like. A little bit of a cream. It's not exactly creamy, so to say, because there's sugar in it. We ended up adding a half a stick more because once I looked at the recipe, we were a little bit short, so we just kind of melted that up a little bit and threw it in with it. But as you can tell, it's a cream, and we're going to add to it. So I just added 2 eggs, and I'm mixing them into this. After the eggs, we're going to go ahead and put in 2/3 of a mashed banana, which is not currently mashed, but I do not foresee it being very difficult. So here we have 2 mashed bananas. Earlier you noticed there's one that was super brown and gross looking, and there's one that was super fresh looking. You can't really tell the difference anymore. Supposedly, my mama always said that the browner they are, the better they are in, baking and so forth. I'm sure all you baking ladies will have wisdom to add to that. So we're just gonna, I should probably measure it, not just dump it in. So we need 3/4. One. But I'm sure if we have a little bit of an extra banana texture, it's not gonna hurt nobody. 2, and then nearly perfect. 3, see? I knew it was gonna be 2. Awesome. And we're just gonna mix that right around. And we're going to add the remaining ingredients, which is some baking soda, a tad of salt, and then our flour. As you can tell by this point, everything got mixed all together. We poured it into our greased pan. By greased, we used coconut spray, which is supposed to be better, but spray's still not good for you. So if you're trying to be healthy, let's like Amit that portion and do whatever is healthier. So we dumped it all in here. I try to get every drop out because I'm pregnant and I have to limit my, non-cooked egg supply, which means I'm technically not supposed to have any, which means what I don't eat, Jeff will eat, so forth. So, as you may or may not be able to hear, our oven is kind of kicking on. We just kind of turn this little dial to 350 and it will cook. The back screen is a little bit dirty. It's smaller than a typical oven, which is the reason it's able to function well in a tiny house. A lot of tiny house people opt not to have ovens, and some people don't even think it's possible. But this is a propane oven, so it doesn't draw any electricity, just propane gas, and it works really well for the space. So you can still have that chicken casserole in an oven. So, yeah, so once it's ready to put in, we'll just stick it in for 30 minutes and pull it out and eat it. And ta-da! We just, 30 minutes later, pulled this banana bread out of the oven. We've poked around in there to make sure it was well cooked. Generally, you can know by sticking a butter knife or a fork in there when you pull it out. If it's not, doesn't have, stickies on it, it's pretty good. So as you can tell, it's a little brown around the edges. That does not hinder the taste at all, I assure you. And yeah, that's banana bread baked in a tiny oven. In a tiny house. Woo! Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, like it, and don't forget to subscribe.